Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button, hit the like, all of that good stuff. So according to Sky Sports News, Dillian Whyte has now launched legal proceedings over the WBC in regards to the delay in him getting a title shot. So what does this mean? How is it going to play out? Well, me personally, with Dillian Whyte, I've never really been on that train where people are saying he's a victim of boxing politics, etc, etc. I've just seen Dillian Whyte as somebody who has played the politics game himself, and that's partly the reason why this guy hasn't had a title shot yet. You know, the guy has turned down fights, etc, etc. So I've not been one of these people out there saying Dillian Whyte would fight anyone, anywhere, anytime, when anybody with any objectivity would know that's not the case, because we can just look at his track record. I made a video the other day basically detailing the fights he actually turned down, so my sympathy for Dillian Whyte isn't exactly all there, to be honest with you. But, you know, if Dillian Whyte feels he's been wronged, this is the correct procedure to take, and we'll see whether he's got a case or not. You know, the thing with the WBC, I'm sure they've got a lot of legal jargon that covers themselves in events like this. You know, I'm talking about their various bylaws that they do have that they can act upon essentially whenever they feel like it. The WBC have been sued in the past by Graziano Rosciagani in the 90s, and that case almost bankrupted the WBC, and I believe it was Don King who actually bailed the WBC out. Otherwise, they were in big financial trouble. So given the fact that they've been stung by this in the past, and essentially it nearly put them out of business, I'm sure it's going to be a lot harder for someone like Dillian Whyte to win a case against the WBC, you know, due to the numerous small print, the bylaws, and things like that. They're going to be a lot more protected than they were way back when. So I think this case for Dillian Whyte could be a long one, you know, could be a long one, could drag on. We'll see what happens. But the interesting thing about this is, how does this affect Eddie Hearn's relationship with the WBC when one of his fighters is suing them? Now, I know Dillian Whyte is only on a fight-by-fight contract with Eddie Hearn, but Eddie Hearn is the guy who is seen as Dillian Whyte's promoter, and he's promoted basically every fight of his since basically a couple of fights before his fight with Joshua. So Eddie Hearn's been working with Dillian a long time. How will this affect Eddie Hearn's relationship with the WBC? And will it actually now be harder for Eddie Hearn to get his other fighters shots at the WBC title? I think that's an interesting part of this story, is Eddie Hearn's relationship with the WBC. How is this going to be affected? You know? But it's interesting to see how this is going to play out, to be honest. I'm not sure whether Dillian Whyte has much of a case, I'll be honest. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, if Dillian feels he's been wronged, this is the best course of action. Now, we'll see how this basically proceeds. We'll see how it plays out. I've got my doubts whether these legal proceedings will actually result in anything, to be honest. But again, we'll see what happens. But no doubt an interesting story coming out of the UK. I've got to be honest, after Joshua fights Pulev, after Tyson Fury fights Wilder again, I wish all the sanctioning bodies would prioritise Undisputed, and any mandatory gets pushed aside so we can have an Undisputed title fight. That's my main wish. I want to see that fight ASAP. I want to see an Undisputed heavyweight champion in the division. The last time we saw one was Lennox Lewis in the 90s. So that's what I want to see happen. I want to see this Undisputed fight happen ASAP. And me personally, I would like to see the mandatories pushed on the back burner. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But anyway, share your thoughts below. Tell me what you guys actually think about this story. Peace.